My name is Gayatri Pishoria and I'm a chef educator in Amritsar. I own and run a company called Gayatri's Gourmet where I get kids to grow and cook their food. And since I'm from Amritsar, food is in my veins. Okay, so today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Amritsari food and I'm going to give a demo on Amritsari kulcha. Okay, first of all, let's just talk about Amritsari food. Okay, I've been born and brought up in Amritsar. My surname is Pishoria and we come from Peshawar. Peshawar is actually Peshawar in Pakistan, and my ancestors actually came from Peshawar pre-partition, and their ancestors came down from Kabul. So I have a bit of a lineage here, and I've grown up with stories about food of Peshawar. So my grandfathers literally always told me that how Amritsari food is not authentic in so many ways because it is a coming together of cultures. Okay, so Amritsar, if I don't know if any of you have visited Amritsar, but Amritsar is it's a port of transport. Okay, so right outside the Golden Temple there is a green tea market, a chai market, which still exists, and that market is hundreds of years old, and that is a point of transport of green tea. So traders used to come from Darjeeling with their tea. People used to come from Kashmir with shawls and saffron. People used to come from Kabul, Peshawar with nuts and so on. So everything used to be exported from Amritsar. And of course, Amritsar became this hub of ingredients. But with the coming in of so many people, it also became a cultural mix of food. Okay, now coming to Amritsari street food, Amritsari street food is very different from Amritsari home food. I mean, it's like an entirely different cuisine. Some of the things that really stand out about Amritsari street food are the dhabas, and you will notice that most of these dhabas don't have any refrigerators. Okay, there are no deep freezers or refrigerators, which means that the food is sourced fresh every morning and consumed till the end of the day, and there are no leftovers. So this is something that really stands out in Amritsari street food. Also, as a local and at the risk of sounding politically incorrect, I would say that the locals of Amritsar don't eat on the TripAdvisor or the Google kind of places. I think most of those places have adjusted their recipes to, you know, suit foreign taste buds. So Amritsar is a place where a lot of tourists visit, and you know, a lot of TV shows are filmed here. But a lot of those people may not see authentic Amritsari recipes because most of these businesses had to tweak their recipes. So if I had to go and eat kulcha, I'm not going to look up the TripAdvisor place. I'm going to go to probably Old Amritsar and to that one particular redi which has no name and has no branding, none of the fancy stuff, and this guy probably just makes one thing. He's either going to make nutri kulcha or regular kulcha, or he's going to make pakoras or samosas or whatever, and that is his way. That is just his one recipe, one speciality, that's it. So these are the places that you might want to visit if you're ever in Amritsar. Do not look up the TripAdvisor places because they're probably not selling the most authentic recipe. Okay. And what else about Amritsari food? Yes, kulchas cannot be had without lassi. Kulchas are incomplete without lassi. And Amritsari kulchas are really well known. They are famous all over the world, but the kulcha doesn't come from Amritsar. So the kulcha has history in the Mughals, like it was really popular in Jahangir's court, and then obviously in Shah Jahan. And the Nizam of Hyderabad also, you know, before partition had kulcha on his flag, 7 kulchas on the flag. But the way the Hyderabadi did kulcha is kind of different from the way the Amritsaris do it. The Amritsari kulcha per se versus the Hyderabadi kulcha is a little different. So Amritsari kulcha is about 200 odd years old, okay, and it has its roots in colonialism. So a lot of the English used to have French cooks, okay, and they kind of adapted the Hyderabadi kulcha recipe, wherein they changed the dough to match the puff pastry dough. So if some of you must be bakers and you would know how puff pastry is made, it is a layered pastry. So first you have to fold it and layer it, and then, you know, eventually you get a very flaky pastry. So the dough of the Amritsari kulcha has been inspired from a French recipe, okay. So here we are, and here's my mise en place, and I'm going to first show you how to work the dough of an Amritsari kulcha. The filling can be anything. The filling can be anything, it doesn't matter. So clean bowl, clean hands, and I'm going to start with Amritsari kulcha. I will be posting a recipe on it later. I think Delhi Food Box will share it. But this is just maida, flour. And to the flour, I'm just going to add some baking powder, some sugar, and some salt. Okay. And then just give that a little mix. To this, I'm going to be adding some butter. Do not be shy on the butter. This is Amritsar. There's no compromise on butter. And you want to give this the consistency, you know, of like some breadcrumbs, or kind of how you start with a short crust pastry style. So yeah, why butter? Because, well, obviously butter gives it a lot of taste. Fat is a carrier of flavor. But essentially, you know, Amritsari food is farmers' food, and dairy is very, very deeply rooted in our culture, even before the 200 years when this kulcha was created. So most of the farmers would have dairy as part of like a very quintessential meal, and it's not really a vegan culture in the sense that we all have cows or buffaloes, and they are very nicely treated most of the times. So dairy is really important, and hence butter. Also, these farmers used to work really hard in the fields, so they needed a lot of extra fat to keep them going. Thirdly, you would notice that in Amritsar particularly, kulchas are eaten generally for breakfast because they are a heavy meal, so they are generally eaten for breakfast. So you're just going to give this a consistency like so, like breadcrumb-ish. Okay, so all the ingredients have been nicely mashed, and I'm just waiting for the milk. And then you have to knead it with milk. When you knead it, you have to go in for a few minutes, and maybe I'm just going to add a little more butter here. So I've added to, say, about 1 cup of butter. I've added about 10 to 15 odd grams of makhan, and to this I've added a teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of sugar, and about a teaspoon of baking powder. Another recipe also talks about adding yogurt, baking powder, and baking soda to this. That's a really different recipe, and I think that's more like a naan-inspired recipe versus a puff pastry-inspired recipe. So here you go. You have to ensure that the butter actually gets distributed properly before you add the liquid. Ideally, you should add milk and not water. So here goes. And I'm just going to add a little bit of the milk and just give this a little mix. Okay. So something like that. And then a little more milk. And then after this, you need some space. Okay, so you're going to flip the dough on a wooden clean surface, and then you have to start bringing this together and kneading it out. So I'm just going to start kneading the dough like so, and give it a lovely little knead. So this process generally starts early in the morning. Also, why? Because it's cooler in the morning and we're working with butter and pastry. So you need a good temperature. And since these places don't really have air conditioners or refrigerators, they prefer to work early in the morning. So there's a lot of reasons why kulcha is consumed the way it is in the morning. Personally, I think that kulcha is something that is quintessentially Amritsar. I have eaten this in other places as well, in Delhi, in Jalandhar, in Bombay, but it's not the same. So maybe Amritsar ke pani ya Amritsar ke doodh mein kuch hai, jisse ki the kulcha gives the kind of texture and color that it does. Can ghee be used instead of butter? Yes, absolutely. Ghee can be used instead of butter. I just find that butter gives it a much better texture. We also like to use white butter, which is very easily available in Amritsar. But the reason I'm not using it because, you know, white butter has some water in it, you know, and that kind of wets the dough. It's a little uncontrollable. So therefore, either use like good Amul butter, or yes, ghee is absolutely fine to use. And I'm just going to keep kneading. So when you knead, try to use this section of your hand, the hinge and the fatter portion of your hand, and you need to give this a very, very clean feel. So you have to keep going, and you have to keep rotating the dough as you go until the dough becomes completely smooth. So do you see there are some bumps on the dough? This is what you don't want. Okay, you have to keep going and make this completely smooth. Okay, so I'm going to go a little faster than I would, but ideally I would knead this for at least 10 minutes. Okay, 10 minutes kneading is very, very important, and you have to stretch it as you need. So I'm just going to show you slowly what I'm doing. 1, 2, 3 and 4. So again, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So once this goes smooth, which is has to, you have to knead it for another 5 minutes. Just flour your surface and roll the dough like so. Just like give it like a odd rectangle shape. And then, by the way, think about rolling. You know, they say that you're going to be a good wife / good daughter-in-law if you can roll around roti. It's pretty obvious right now that I'm not going to be a good wife / daughter-in-law because I cannot roll around roti. So here you go. And this is what you oddly want. And then we're going to put in some butter. Now this butter is room temperature softened butter. It's not hard butter like puff pastry. It's just room temperature softened butter. And it should be this particular texture, not hard, not melted. This texture, so it spreads out evenly. Okay? And then I'm just going to pop on a little flour, and then we need to fold it. And then very gently roll it out again. So again, it's very similar to a puff pastry. If any of you are bakers, you will know it's similar. Maybe like a rough-ish version of a puff pastry, right? But then it is just that. And then again, you sort of just roll it out. So in a puff pastry, you would put sort of, you know, much harder, thicker butter so that, because you will be refrigerating it. Here you would be putting like a thinner layer of butter, but more like a creamy-ish butter. Okay, so here you go. And now you need to refrigerate it for 30 minutes at least and repeat the same process. So at least 4 times. Ideally, you would do it 7 times, but I'm saying 4 times because there's copious amounts of butter in the 7-time situation. Okay, so with the magic of TV, I already have a dough that has been previously made. This is also a 4-time dough, but feel free to make a 7-time version. It's amazing. And obviously you will not get up from your bed after that because it's that heavy. So here we go. So this is just out of the fridge, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to just cut it. Okay, so that maybe just 2 portions is fine. And then I'm going to roll it like that, and then just let it rest for a very short while. Good dough is all about resting. If you're not resting it, you're not going to get a good dough, right? So just rest it out, and you can see the layers right here. Is this visible? So yeah, it is a book fold. It is very similar to a book fold. I would say to an extent this lacks the finesse of a puff pastry, but it's pretty much the same thing, especially if you're doing it at home. It's kind of fuss-free and therapeutic. You can take your time to do this. So just roll it out and let it rest until we prepare the filling, and then we'll roll it out again. So I have hot pan over here, and I'm now going to prepare the filling. Okay, so for the filling, there are just 2 key spices. Do not overspice your kulcha. There are just 2 spices that you need to understand, and that is coriander and cumin, dhania or jeera. Okay, just put that in, and this needs to bhuno properly. This is the most important element in the mixture. So I'm making a potato-based mixture, aloo wala kulcha, which is traditional. I have some boiled potatoes here. This is the traditional kulcha. This is the one we love the most, but you can make a paneer kulcha, you can make a gobi ka kulcha, keema, whatever you like. So we have some potatoes here, and then I'm adding some onions. Then I'm adding some garlic, a little bit of garam masala. This is homemade garam masala. Nothing can beat the flavor of homemade garam masala. Please make your own. And at the same time, this is bhunoing. Okay, and then I'm adding just a little bit of anardana, which is optional. This gives a really good flavor. Then I'm going to go with some hari mirchi, green chilies. So green chilies, quintessential again. Little bit of hara dhania, coriander, and this has already started to grow fragrant. Okay, I'm getting a very lovely smell from this. You don't have to overcook it, because if you do, it's going to burn and it's going to give you a really bad flavor. So the moment you get a beautiful fragrance out of it, that's when you remove it and pop it into your mortar and pestle. So this mortar and pestle, by the way, is 150 years old, and this is my inheritance. It's my grandmother's, my nanny's, and she's passed it on to me. So I'm just going to let this cool for a little bit, and while that happens, I'm going to cream my filling. Now, what does it mean to cream your filling? It means that this should not be grainy like this. Okay, the filling needs to be, you have to kind of knead the filling to give it a very creamy texture, and you have to keep going until you get that creamy consistency. Okay, so keep going until you get a beautiful little creamy consistency. And once you start getting that, once the lumps start to go out, well, guess what are you going to add? Makhan, butter. Okay, so a little bit of butter, and then just a little bit of maida, just a little bit, and give it a mix. The beautiful thing about this recipe is that it's really flexible. You can work around this recipe, make your own filling, spice it your way, absolutely fine. What I find is that the touristy places in Amritsar, they've sort of gone away from this particular recipe, and I don't know, the kulcha sort of tastes a little different than it should. It's kind of less spiced. So kulcha needs to be spiced. It's not just about the butter and the aloo. It's also about the spices. And you must ensure that when you make your own recipe of the kulchas, spice it adequately. We're going to let this be for a little bit. Our spices here have cooled down, and I'm just going to roughly mash them. I don't want them to be powdery. I want them to be slightly chunky. Okay, so here you go. You'll notice that in a lot of Amritsari cooking, dhania is a very big deal. Like, we cannot do without dhania. So sabut dhania, whether it's a rajma or a madi dal, all of it, it's just not possible, at least for us, to think about food without dhania. So I'm just going to give it a rough mash, something like this. Okay, so that's pretty much what you want. Do not powder it. This is how it's traditionally supposed to be. And then just take some of it and pop it into your mixture and save some, because we're going to add some of that as a topping as well. Okay, so we're just going to give this a little mix, and we are ready to roll. Okay, so our mix is ready. It's nice and creamy. So here you go. Get the heat on, and the heat has to be, say, medium-ish. Traditionally, these kulchas are made in the tandoor, but I don't have a tandoor. You can even make it in a pressure cooker. Like make a tandoor out of the pressure cooker, invert it on top of the thing. So on top of your gas or whatever, and you can just use it on the pressure cooker, make it on the pressure cooker. But when you do make it on the pressure cooker, you have to ensure that you put some salted water all around the pressure cooker. Okay, so here is the dough, and I'm just going to lightly spread it out. You can use a rolling pin or your hands. Just open the dough out, start rolling it. So imagine hundreds of kulchas going out every morning, all done by hand. So the kind of skill, expertise, biceps and triceps that it must take, you can just imagine. And there are no machines. So something like this, roll it out. This is the thickness we're looking at. And then you start to stuff it, but don't stuff it too much. Okay, just enough. Do not stuff it too much. And then you have to spread the stuffing a little bit. Overstuffing is not cool, okay? And then you're going to just cover this out, roll it out like that. Okay, invert it, press it down, like so. Here you go. So something like that. So this is your kulcha ready. We have a hot pan over here. Pan dikhao. We have a hot pan over here. Kulcha over here. Now, in a bowl, you need some water. So this is salted water. Water as salty as the sea. So there's lots of water in it. And just sort of pop that on a little bit. This is what you would be doing on the inside of the cooker if you're making it in a cooker. Then I'm going to just put a little bit of dhania and kasturi methi. So thoda sa kasturi methi lekar crush it out and just stuff it, put it on like that. Just stick it. Little more pani and सूखा आटा भी लगाएंगे. And then a little bit of our spice mix, which is jeera and dhania, freshly roasted. So press that on. Okay, and then thoda sa सूखा आटा, maida. Okay, and a bit here as well. Okay, and now this is going to go on my pan. Okay, pan is kind of it's on low to medium heat so that our kulcha cooks from within. Okay, kulcha is not like paratha. Okay, so kulcha is not a lacha paratha. Lacha paratha has a different technique. Kulcha has a different technique. Lacha paratha, you actually make the lachas. And kulcha, you sort of do a puff pastry technique. Okay, so there are two different things. So this is started to fluff. It smells very nice, and it's right now sticking to the bottom. So if it's sticking, then that means it's not 100% done. Can you see on the other side how it's going? It's just starting to cook, but it needs to go properly brown. So again, low to medium heat. Be a little patient here. Also about kulchas, again I've seen a lot of recipes, and I'm going to repeat this, that use yogurt, baking powder and baking soda. That recipe is not incorrect, but it does not reflect where kulchas started. So kulchas started about 200 years ago. Amritsari kulchas particularly started 200 years ago when French chefs were brought in by the English. Okay, otherwise kulchas are much older. They have been served in Shah Jahan's court, Jahangir's court, then Shah Jahan, and of course in the early 1900s, the Nawab of Hyderabad also had 7 kulchas on his flag. So yeah, kulchas have actually really sort of taken a leap from there. So the kulchas they would have made back then are quite different from the Amritsari kulcha, which is French influenced, and I cannot stress on that enough. Also, kulchas reflect the original kulchas, at least the ones in Shah Jahan, Jahangir's time, reflect the coming in of the tandoor. So the tandoor is actually a Mughlai cooking oven, and it's not essentially Indian, although some stories suggest that of course tandoors were part of the Indus Valley civilization. So there are two varying opinions on the tandoor. We're not very sure if it's 100% Indian, so cannot take credit for the tandoor here. So I've flipped this and I'm going to give it one more flip. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a little story about Kesar. So 100 years old dhaba, known for its Mahdi dal. Now Mahdi dal is not dal makhani, it is not dal bukhara, it is Mahdi dal. That's what it is, and Kesar is known for this particular recipe. So back in the day when Kesar started, and this is my grandfather's memory of Kesar, my dada's memory of Kesar. He says that, you know, in that area, in that particular lane, Logar Gate is that area, that's what it's called. But anyway, that area was a bachelor's area. Okay, and my grandfather was one of the bachelors who used to stay there. He was very handsome, by the way. So he was a bachelor who stayed there, and you know, most of these bachelors could not cook their food. So what did they do? They used to probably, you know, just make their own rotis, and or they would get double roti, which is bread, and then they would get ek aane ki dal from Kesar. And that dal was Mahdi dal, and that is how Kesar became known. So they would get ek aane ki dal ki theli. वो theli में इतनी सी दाल मिलती थी, which was enough for 1 to 2 people, and that is the only thing that Kesar used to make. Now, of course, they have a huge menu with their rajma and kulchas and aloo paratha and so on and so forth, and the food is amazing. But Maadi dal is their authentic recipe. So this is where it started, and then of course, over the years Kesar became an institution. Till date, when you get to Kesar, you cannot take your cars. It's a place, one of the few places in Amritsar actually, that is a great equalizer. It doesn't matter who you are, you have to still park your car way before and walk into a by lane to get to the dhaba. And now if you're ever in Kesar, of course Maadi dal is key, but try their chanas, try their aloo paratha, and the firni is to die for. Do not miss the firni, it's amazing. Okay, so yeah, so that's the story of Kesar. Okay, I've just given you another flip. So previously it looked like this. Now I'm going to cook this side a little more and turn it around. Another place I love is lovely soya champ, which is very close to Kesar, and most of the Amritsaris are hardcore non-vegetarians, but during the Vratras and so on, they cannot eat non-vegetarian food, and that's when Lovely is the place to go, because his soya champ is so good and you wouldn't miss non-veg. His soya champ is amazing. And right next to Lovely actually is Pal Da Dhaba, which is known for its krode. So krode is trotters. Okay, trotters बोलते हैं इंग्लिश में, क्या बोलते हैं, trotters ही बोलते हैं, I think. So basically they are like the gelatinous sort of paws of the baby goat, and they are really tasty. So krode का soup मिलता है उधर, या curry मिलती है जो it's very very tasty, and you must try it. The best time to actually visit Amritsar, I would say, to sample all this food is between October and Feb. So I hope sort of things calm down with the coronavirus and everything, and you guys get to visit Amritsar and try all this amazing food. This is what it looks like. You can make it more crispy, not crispy, but this is now ready to eat. But if you want to make it more crispy, here's what you need to do. Flip it from the front end and increase your heat. Okay? Increase your heat and just give it a minute on high heat, and that's when you'll get it slightly crunchy. Ideally, kulcha should not be very crunchy, okay? But it should not be soggy either. It should be somewhere in between, okay? And the flakiness is very important in the sense that it should just basically fall apart. So we're going to be crushing the kulcha, popping some butter on it, and the filling has to ooze out. That's what we're looking at, okay? So we're almost done. Here goes. And now you have to watch this carefully, because you can't just go and listen to the phone or something, because this can burn. And if you do it in a cooker, you'll get a really good, almost tandoor-like result. I don't have that provision because I'm cooking on an induction right now, so I can't pop the cooker on, but you can totally do that. What is a good combination to relish kulcha to the fullest? Just with butter on its own, but I would say have it with chana. And this, by the way, can break, okay? So this is pretty much ready. And now I'm going to serve it. Now you have to use your hands because we need to crush it. But then, of course, no points for guessing. We need a bit of a final flourish, which is butter. We're not counting calories here, guys, so come on, okay? 3. You just crush it out like that, okay? And this essentially is your, ouch, very, very hot Amritsari kulcha, okay? Make it more crispy if you want to, but this is how we like it. And this is what your kulcha looks like from the inside, okay? So the filling is nice and oozy. This is the thickness of your dough. And this, of course, is the top. Very, very nicely fragranced, very nicely spiced. So I'm going to sign out, and thank you so much for watching the authentic recipe of Amritsari kulcha. If you're ever in Amritsar, do visit Kesar Da Dhaba, do visit Lovely Sweets, Pal Da Dhaba, visit Bahadur Kulcha Wala, Monu Kulcha. These are the people who do the best possible kulchas. So signing off, this is me, Gayatri Pishoria, chef educator from Amritsar, with a very, very big appetite for the Amritsari kulcha. Ciao, bye bye.